Hello and welcome to Resource Report, where we share with you important information about local nonprofits and resource organizations that support the community we share, produced by Pathways to Agency. I am your host, Rainmaker. For today's episode, I spoke with Tony Bartlett of First Things First, a drug and alcohol rehab center across from Ralph's at 1905 4th Avenue East. Here's Tony. Okay, I am here at First Things First, a recovery center with Tony. You want to introduce yourself, Tony?
Yeah, I'm Tony Bartlett. I'm co-owner of First Things First. We're an outpatient treatment center. We do referrals and outpatient groups, individual counseling, assessments, and alcohol and drug information school for those who, the court orders that they have to do to school.
Cool. What types of recovery services do y'all provide here?
We get people into inpatient, get people into detox. We work closely with an agency down in Longview, Kelso, and send people to inpatient and, if need be, medically monitored detox services for alcohol, fentanyl, and also benzodiazepine, which is like Xanax.
So what is the process if somebody comes in to receive treatment? What is the process that they go through?
When someone starts the process, they call. We schedule them in for a comprehensive assessment, which is, we look at all areas of their life and figure out their treatment needs. And then from there, if it's decided that they need, and especially that they want treatment, we try not to make anyone. It really has to be, they have to make the decision that they want treatment. That's a huge part of this. And then if they decide that, they're ready to do some type of treatment, either we'll send them off to inpatient services or detox if that's their need, or if they are appropriate for an outpatient setting, we do an intake, put together a treatment plan, and then we set them into outpatient groups. We offer both morning and night outpatient groups, 10 to 12, Tuesday through Thursday, and then we have night groups from 5 to 7, 7:30 for those who work, or one night groups. And that's more of an educational and gives people the recovery skills that they need. All of our clients also do individual counseling with our experienced counselors.
Okay. And do you work with other treatment places as well?
We do. We work with multiple inpatient facilities. We get people in the inpatient treatment. If they have private insurance, we have places that we can send them, like Discovery Recovery. And then if it's Apple Health, which is state insurance, we primarily work with Cowlitz Family, but we have sent people to Prosperity, Kitsap Recovery, and anywhere where we can get them a bed. It's our goal to get someone from setting their appointment into treatment within 7 days. The window can close very quickly with an addict, and then if they want help, we want to facilitate this in a quick manner before something happens and they change their mind, because this can be life or death.
Tell me about the kinds of people, the different kind of people that you have, the different types of recovery that y'all work with.
We work with all types, but generally what we see here, and I think in most treatment centers now, are people that are court ordered from DUIs. It can be a drug or an alcohol DUI. They're sent here to the courts. They're ordered to do an assessment. And when I first started, I've been a counselor for 14 years now. Drugs were also the court was ordering people into treatment for drugs. But today we rarely see, if ever, anyone that's court ordered for drugs. They've kind of close the eyes and they let that one, no, people are no longer court ordered for drugs.
Do you know anything about that? Like why that might be?
There was a law, it's called the Blake Law, and they decriminalized, or I don't know if it's decriminalized. They quit charging people with possession of substances.
Okay, okay. When you're talking about laws, there's the WAC laws, WAC, regarding food assistance for individuals residing in drug treatment centers. Does it work any differently for your clients, like if they're residing at home? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If they're in our outpatient, it would not affect their food stamps. I have been a counselor for 14 years, so I know when people go to inpatient, often there's something with the food stamps. But yeah, we have and most of our clients, when they first begin treatment, are getting food assistance, which is great. It's very much needed in this day and age. Things are very expensive.
Yeah. How aware do you think your clients are about being able to receive that assistance, and how easy is the process?
I think that most of them already are receiving them when they come here. 80% of our clients are on Apple Health, which is state insurance. So therefore, they are already been looked at, and seeing if they're eligible for food assistance.
How do you work with Medicaid? How does the billing work?
Medicaid works. It goes through our system. They're actually, out of all the insurance companies that we work with, Medicaid is by far the best. They pay their bills. We get into large private insurances, and they want to deny, delay, and defend, and they are very slow if they pay their bills at all. Medicaid has been wonderful to work with. It's the only reason that we're still open.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing to hear. Good to know.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah. What about people that don't have Medicaid?
For those, either if they have the ability to pay cash, they do. We have several programs that we work with. The Thurston County BHO has provided us funding, and we've had many people that have come through, and people that are on Medicare, people that do not have insurance, and the county has helped us pick them up. Or we will set a sliding scale for anyone that needs. Okay,
right on. What does the sliding scale look like?
It's per the group, and it's set depending on their wages.
So it's like based on your income level. So you'd fill out a form.
Yeah, we do have something. Yeah, and then once the form's filled out, we turn that over to the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health, and they will decide if they will fund them through treatment.
Okay. How do they decide?
I'm not the financial person. My partner Lisa does most of that, but it's on income, house size.
Okay. You mentioned before alcohol and drug information school at one point.
Right.
Yeah, can you tell me about that?
It's a 8-hour class that we teach once a month. People with their first driving under the influence are more often than not ordered by the court to go through that school. And these are the people that we feel do not need full-on drug treatment, but they could benefit from information and education on the disease of addiction and the progressive nature of addiction.
Yeah. How long does that program take?
It's a 1-day class. It's 8
is
hours.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, and then we also do a victims impact panel where we have either community members or we use videos from Mothers Against Drunk Driving to really get people to look at the impact they can have on others from their drinking and driving or their drugging and driving. We're seeing a increase in cannabis DUIs recently.
Interesting, yeah. Can you tell me more about the different programs, how what they look like? that you have?
We have intensive outpatient. It meets 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2.5-hour classes. They're educational. It has a lot of education on the disease of addiction, the progressive nature, building healthy coping skills, how to deal with guilt and shame. Recently, a lot of our focus has been on the holidays and building relapse prevention plans for the alcoholic and the addict to get through the holidays without returning to their old coping skill, which was drugs and alcohol. And, relapse prevention is a huge part. We do Seeking Safety, which is a program, and it deals with PTSD and trauma for those who may have that, which is most of our clients.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an outpatient group also, and it meets up to 2 times a week. It has more education, but it's specific on relapse prevention and, looking at different scenarios and educating them and just giving them the tools to recover.
So I had gone a little while back and interviewed you for my class, and I remembered we were in a different room and there are some drawings that were put up.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me about that?
That's the art therapy. That's one both me and Lisa do. We gave them the supplies and had them do 2. One was their recovery and one was their addiction, and they made different pictures out of it.
Yeah, and tell me about the experiences that your clients have had doing the art therapy.
It gets the left side of the brain, so and it really makes it clear the difference between recovery and addiction, and especially when you're doing an art type of therapy, change often happens in the left side of the brain.
Mm-hmm. It taps into that ability to visualize yourself and what's going on. So if you can see it, then it makes it more real to you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we really stress here is changing external motivation, which someone led you into treatment. It might have been the court, it might have been, your husband, your wife, whoever, and then really getting the client to see the benefit of a program of recovery. And making the choice for themselves and seeing their lives change for the positive and saying, wow, that was then, this is now. And one of the terms that we use is the price of admission, because every person has choice. And once they leave treatment, they're going to do, whatever they choose. But with that comes consequences, both negative and positive. So really, it's called motivational interviewing, where we lead them to see the decision and make it for themselves, rather than tell them, you need to do this, you need to do this. It's like, no, what I want to do as a clinician, and I use a lot of motivational interviewing, is them to see the good and the less goods of their addiction. We don't even call it bad when we're using motivational interviewing, because, it's their decision, and what they see is their own perception and their own reality. So if we can really get them to see how their life is changing in a positive direction, and it always does once a substance is taken over your life, is you get that out. It's kind of a no-brainer where things are going to get better.
Yeah, leading them to an objective view of themselves without judgment.
Absolutely.
That's so important.
Right, and one of the things too we stress here at First Things First is community. Just getting the people to work together. We have a lot of people that go to meetings together. We have, like on Christmas, we're going to have a Christmas brunch here. Where no one has to come. It's not even part of treatment or anything. There will be no attendance taken or anything, but me and a couple clients are going to get together and we're going to make a really nice breakfast. We started this last year, and for so many people, it was the highlight of their day because they didn't have anywhere to do breakfast. And that just fosters a sense of community and knowing that you're not doing this alone, because boredom and loneliness is a huge part of the addictive process. And then, it's people will tend to, if they feel part of something, they will not be willing to give up that recovery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why do you think some people do not go for treatment?
I think that, it becomes the norm. It becomes their identity. It is their coping skill. Mm-hmm. To give up your coping skill when things go good, when things go bad, and many of them were raised in an addictive family unit, and it becomes their norm. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think that recovery isn't possible. And we have a very strong recovery community in Olympia.
What are some barriers that you've seen that people have to receiving treatment?
Housing has been one of the biggest barriers.
Yeah.
There are clean and sober houses here in Olympia, but most of them are filled up. And the ability to afford housing, the cost of rent in Olympia, it is definitely not, it's not good at all. Prices are really inflated on rent, and if you can't have that safe environment, it's really hard to recover.
Absolutely.
If you're living in a house full of people that are drinking and using and you're trying recovery, it's nearly impossible. That's one of the first things that we treat, the environment. For so many people, they don't have that safe environment, and you can't say, well, you need to, move out of there if that's their only housing and that's how they're staying warm or that's their shelter. Mm-hmm. But having that environment has been one of the biggest barriers since I've been a counselor.
How do you support people in changing that environment?
We definitely access any programs that we have. There's several housing programs. One in particular is HARPS. Mm-hmm. And they'll pay for people that just got out of inpatient treatment. For many years, they used to send people to inpatient treatment, and they would go back to the same environment, and the relapse rate was, at about 90%. Because if you send someone right back to the same environment, and everyone in the household is drinking and using, and it comes down to willpower, that's a tough thing.
Yeah, peer pressure is a big deal.
It really is.
Yeah, and drugs and alcohol are not cheap either. When you're spending your money on that, it's hard to save for housing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And before those coping skills and recovery skills are taught and developed, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. It takes time. What's the longest recovery time and the shortest recovery time you've seen?
I've been recovering myself. I'll have 25 years in February. And,
congratulations.
Thank you. And my sponsor, Doug, he has 40 years. And the shortest time, can be a day. We had a gentleman, and I certainly won't say names, but, he went to inpatient a couple weeks back, or a couple months, or about a month back. He got out, and he did not have housing, and was living in his car, and eventually he started drinking again. So, it's that environmental part that is huge. Mm-hmm. And he's back there now. We sent him back the other day. He's going to do another 30 days, and we're really going to try to focus on getting him into housing. Mm-hmm. Once he got out, we tried. He says, "Oh, I'm fine in my car," and we were like, "Well, let's look into Oxford housing or other clean and sober housing options." He says, "Well, I really want my own place," and didn't have the money, so he stayed in his car, and eventually, was alone and made a choice to drink. But the thing is he came back here. He felt safe here, and we're going to get him the help that he needs.
What is the size of your groups?
They're 10 to 12 people.
10 to 12 people? So you don't, that's like your cap, and then you have another group?
We're capped at 16.
16? Okay.
Yeah, but rarely do we get to that number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we want to keep it where, one clinician can run the group effectively.
Yeah.
If you have 16 people, it's really tough.
How many clinicians do you have here?
We have 2 and a trainee.
Yeah.
But she's just at the beginning. She's been in school for the last 6 months, and she just has applied for her trainee's license. We'd like more, but economically, we can't do it at this time.
Yeah. I remember you've told me before that y'all have Narcan here. Can you talk about that?
We have it in case we need it. We talk about it also in Alcohol and Drug Information School. And, anyone that wants one or needs one, we'll give it to them. We've been getting it from a gal that does street outreach. And, yeah, it's definitely necessary. It's a very good thing, and we have it, and we haven't had to use it yet, but it's there.
Right on. Like anybody needs Narcan, just can come on in and just get some.
We're not going to go that far, but
No?
any of our
Okay.
clients that want it or anything, we don't want just people. We have just a limited supply of it. But if someone came in and wanted some, they would say, "I'm worried about my son or my daughter
Yeah.
or my husband." I would certainly, we definitely give it to them,
Yeah.
because this thing's truly about keeping people alive until we can get them the help that they need.
Absolutely.
Everyone
Absolutely.
is someone's son or daughter, and they matter. And people are dying, and I've been doing this for 14 years, and at first, they would say, "Well, you're going to die if you keep doing." And now with fentanyl, people truly are dying and all over the place. I've recently, known 3 people that have passed myself. That we do recover, that's the thing. And like I said, Olympia does have a very strong recovery community. We have a new Alano Club on 10th and East Side, where they start at 7 o'clock in the morning. There's meetings throughout the day. There's online meetings. There's NAAA, and recovery is strong, but so is the disease. And that's the thing that we're trying to do as an agency is get these people to join the recovery community, because strangely enough, in addiction, that's a community also.
That's there's all kinds of communities about all kinds of things. It's finding what community you're drawn to and what community you need to be in.
All of our employees are in recovery. Mary, she's really the face of that. Mary and Judy, they greet people in and they treat them kindly because they've been there themselves.
Yeah.
And our other front desk person, Judy, she's many years in recovery. She's once retired, and she came here to be a guest speaker at a group, and we were like, "We need to hire you. You are wonderful." And she's like, "Okay." So she works 3 hours a day. She's in her mid-70s, and she's a firecracker, and everyone just loves her. She's like a grandma, and just someone walks in, they don't want to be met and felt judged. It's, that was one of the things that I know we do well. It's like, hey, I've been there. And, this is what we did. This is how we, do this deal, come join our community.
Tell me about the speakers, getting guest speakers.
We do have guest lecturers come in, and they're from different walks of recovery. We have people from different fellowships. We've had Al-Anon come in. We've had AA speakers. We've had NA speakers. We've had just a variety, and it kind of breaks it up. And, people hearing other people's journey of recovery, we found is very therapeutic.
Yeah, knowing that you're not the only one,
Right.
and it's relatable.
Right.
Yeah. Do y'all do like Zoom meetings at all for anybody?
No, we do not. If inclement weather were to happen, we would do Zoom meetings. If we ended up in a snowstorm, we did Zoom during the pandemic, and that was full time Zoom. But we find it far more therapeutic, and having that hands-on approach of in building that community if people are in the same room together.
Definitely. Yeah, in person, it's a different vibe.
Certainly is.
How do you work with the Department of Corrections or the court system?
What we do is we have to have a release of information to even talk to them because of HIPAA laws, which is privacy laws. And then we send them, with the permission of the client, we send them the information that we gathered from the assessment, and then our recommendations, and then we send out monthly reports to let them know. And there can also be an incident report. We wouldn't wait the whole month if someone quit coming or something like that, because we are mandatory reporters. Once there's a release of information filed, so we deal with them. Send those reports out, and occasionally we'll talk with them if need be. If someone's struggling, or even if someone's doing well, we'll let them know. Hey, we have a few Department of Corrections people there's 4 of them that came in right around the same time, and they're about ready to graduate. January 5th, there's 4 of them that are graduating, and they're all doing well. They've had clean UAs since they've been here, just doing excellent, and have blended right into our community, and their perception and attitude is certainly really good.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's really good. They're on the reentry program, GRE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit of history. So how is it that you are here doing what you are doing, and how did you get here?
Okay, so for 20 years I was a roofer, and in February of 2000 I got clean and sober. Continued to roof, and then I decided that I wanted to go back to school and get a degree. It's something that I'd always wanted to do. So I was in early recovery and started taking the placement tests, and I had a few of them in a row come back that I should be a counselor. So I went to Pierce College and got started, went to school for 2 years to become a counselor. Learned a lot of things that I never would have known, just as a addict in recovery, all the therapeutic tools, and became a counselor. I was a trainee counselor out in Shelton.
Was it just for recovery counseling or just general, like, psychological kind of counseling?
It was drug and alcohol.
Okay.
I did take mental health classes, but I never got a degree in it.
Okay.
Which, helps, to be able to see the signs, but, I'm not a mental health counselor.
Okay.
Just drugs and alcohol. It was a 2-year class. Went to work as a trainee. I worked for a couple years out in Shelton. Finished 2,500 hours worth of training, and took the state test, and went to work for Department of Corrections for a year inside the prison system. And then I went to work for 6 more years at an agency called Pierce County Alliance. Very big treatment provider out of Pierce County, and they also run the Thurston County Drug Court program. I worked in Thurston County and Pierce County as a drug court counselor, and was able to start a in-custody jail program there that's still running today. And then the opportunity came up to purchase a treatment agency in Olympia. It was just after the pandemic. I hated the drive to Tacoma every day, and so decided to go all in, and bought First Things First. It had been here before. Was able to hire a lady that I worked with, who I thought was the best counselor I ever worked with. She was working out in Shelton for an agency.
Is that Lisa?
It is Lisa. And together, we put together, what we thought was effective. Between the two of us, we're both 14 years. We started as trainees together, and have built what we feel is a really strong program. We're both extremely experienced counselors. We're both clinical supervisors, which doesn't mean a whole lot other than we can supervise new people. And it means also not only have we put in all of our training hours, passed the state test, we've also have another 10,000 hours worth of experience. So, what you're going to get here at First Things First is experienced counselors that have been through it.
Absolutely.
There's different approaches, but I know if I had open heart surgery, I would certainly want to have someone who's went through medical school operating on me.
I remember in the previous interview with you, you said how long First Things First was here before you got here, and it was like a mess.
It was, definitely. It was definitely a different type of treatment center. It was, I'm trying to choose the right words. I think a mess might be that. Yeah.
Yeah, and how long, so it was here for a good while before you got it.
Correct.
Yeah, and
I think there were times along the way where it was a decent little treatment center, and then just changes in staff and whatnot. But
That's
we
a
have
big
totally
difference.
revamped everything.
Yeah.
And, took our experiences from, working at big agencies, and have built a nice little treatment center here.
And how long have you been here now?
It'll be 3 years.
3 years.
I took over the day after New Year's 3 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So you're coming up on your fourth
year.
Third year. Yeah. So that's important to know, because I'm sure that, word of mouth, and there are people who might have this idea about this place because of before,
right,
and haven't heard yet that it's new management, new people.
Yeah.
So that's important.
And that has certainly happened. The phone rings
Yeah.
off the hook. We're extremely busy, and a lot of it is word of mouth.
Yeah.
In any business, word of mouth is the best advertisement you'll ever get.
You've mentioned outreach patients. Do you do home visits at all?
No, we do not.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
You know, and that's part of, you know, just being a licensed counselor is, you know, the outside relationships is not encouraged for a counselor.
Right.
And that, you know, and especially going to their house or anything.
Right. There's that transference.
You bet there is. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you by appointment only? Are you drop-in? Both?
By appointment only.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the things we do is we definitely try to get people in within a week of calling. Like I said earlier in the interview, that the window of opportunity closes. And, you know, someone calls and says, you know, today they say, I need help. Well, I can see you January 22nd.
Yeah, I know.
By the time January 22nd rolls around, you know, usually they're on to, you know, something else, or possibly, you know, they might be dead. It feels good to help others.
It does. It does. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
And you know, when I got clean, my journey began. I was living in my truck. You know, I went to DSHS and I asked for help, and DSHS sent me to all places. The place where I send people now, at the time it was called DAPC, but now it's Callan's Family. They sent me down there, and it changed my life, and now I get to help people much in the manner that I was helped, and you know, it feels good.
Paying
Truly
it forward.
does. Absolutely, and to watch the lights come on with someone who's been struggling is the most rewarding thing ever. It ain't about money.
Yeah.
You know, what we do is we help people.
Yeah. Tell us who you are.
I'm Mary.
Mary.
Yeah,
Yeah, the receptionist.
the receptionist.
And
Soon to be trainee,
yeah,
and we're gonna train her for a year
yeah,
while she finishes up school. We're not gonna push her into it, and you know, when she's ready to start as a counselor, she's gonna be an excellent one.
I think
But,
so.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she'll have a couple of years of experience before, you know, she starts.
Yeah.
She's pretty spectacular.
Well, I graduated and they couldn't get rid of me. So. I just stayed around, so.
And this is what worked for her.
Yes, I did.
And now she's going back to school to pay it forward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she'd been to how many treatment centers?
Well, I think there's only 4 in Olympia. So BHR, Northwest Resources, St. Peter's, and then also, I know there was one more. But yeah, for some reason this one worked for me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was the community part just fit.
It was a factor of when you came in here, it felt like a home rather
Yeah.
than like court ordered. You know, it was more like a family, and the presence of God is definitely felt here. And where other facilities, it just seemed like they were.
Before, you know, she had been through all the court systems and anything, but that community thing that I talk about, and treating people with positive regard, treating people like they matter.
Yeah. Y'all are doing really good work here.
We try. We definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people graduate.
Yeah.
At other facility, there was one facility I was at for 2 years, and I don't think I ever was a part of a graduation until I came here. So, yeah, that is strange. It was strange.
You know, having a ceremony and recognition that, like, actually physiologically people release serotonin and oxytocin for that. You know, it gives people, like, this positive feeling, emotions, you know, having that recognition. If you just get, like, a little card that says, congratulations, you did it, you know, that's not the same effect as, like, physically having like a big to-do about something.
Yeah, we have a community dinner on
thing.
graduation night where, you know, people, if they can, bring in to a potluck. If not, we'll make sure that they have everything, and then they're given a really nice certificate, a coin that says First Things First on it, and then we have a recovery plant that's all in the other room, and we root it and give them a part of the plant so they can take a part of First Things First home with them. You know, that's the one thing is my job as a clinician is to get people ready for life after treatment.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure that they have the tools that they need to be successful outside of treatment.
Yeah.
You know, because it comes to an end then if, you know, if they're still not active in their recovery, the chances are that they're going to return to substance use. And, you know, one of the things Mary has done real effectively, and she's working with others, you know, in all of her other treatment attempts, she shied away from AA and NA, and now she's very much a huge part of our local thing. She's sponsoring ladies that came in struggling. She's taking them through the 12 steps, and you know, she's part of this, and she knows if, you know, that people depend on her for recovery now. And then if you're sitting in a spot and you feel that you ain't got nothing to lose, I might as well have a drink. But, you know, if you have that person that's like, well, you know, for example, and these are made-up names, Joe and Pete need me. I'm their sponsor. What are they going to do if,
Accountability.
So, yeah,
partner
working with others is a huge part of it.
So you're not just the receptionist, Mary. You also run a group.
No, I don't. I haven't run a group yet, but I do sponsor a couple girls through the AA.
Oh, so you're a sponsor.
Yeah, I'm about ready to get my SUDPT, which is the trainee certification to start doing groups and being trained. So
cool.
Yeah, so eventually.
She's been in school for how long?
A year as of January.
You know, she initially did looked at peer counseling, but we as an agency think people need more experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's only so much you can get from a classroom. You've got to be out there and actually doing the thing.
Right, and the length of class, like she's been in there a year, she's learned a lot of good things. You know, and but to take a class that lasts a week long is not enough. You know, and there are wonderful peer counselors out there that are really good, and that's really ties into the AA theme and everything. And you know, I admire what they're doing, and anyone that's helping anyone, I'm for. I'm not against peer counselors, but you know, I just know that this thing is very complex, and people are dying, and like I said earlier, if I had heart surgery, I would certainly want a surgeon who went to medical school.
I see the peer counseling as a good thing. Like, you know, if you want to be a sponsor, that would be something that you should, you know, do for education-wise, because it would really, really help sponsors. You know, but yeah, definitely knowing the science of addiction is really, really important.
Yeah.
So that you know.
And also with peer counseling, it's a lot of it is having that self-awareness, you know, and what your capabilities and what your limitations are with your own issues. You know,
And like I said, anyone that's helping anyone, I'm for.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they see a lot of people in the trenches, and people that are struggling in the tent cities and whatnot. And my hat's off to anyone that's trying to help anyone. But as a business owner and a clinician, I really think that it's important that like you said, that they're referred to the right people.
Right.
Mental health is it's hard to get people into mental health.
Yeah, you definitely don't send someone with bipolar to the police.
No.
No, that's not going to help.
And and someone who's been using methamphetamine for years is slightly schizophrenic. Someone who's done a large amount of methamphetamines for breakfast, and you send them to a mental health assessment, is going to present as very schizophrenic or bipolar, or it's we got to get a person clean before we can figure out what part does the mental health play.
Find out the baseline.
Right, and and we're mental health's getting a lot of attention out there, but we got to get them clean before we can decide. I have a brother who has had struggles and with both mental health and substance abuse, and the second he uses substance, and he likes methamphetamines and marijuana. Second that he uses them, he becomes extremely sick mentally. But when he's clean and sober, he manages just fine. So that's one of the challenges that we have going on is co-occurring disorders.
Dealing with the environment and the mental health, and quite often the mental health and the environment are tied together.
Absolutely,
So
and
like
once the substance
then
is out
recovery.
of the system, a lot of people's mental health will improve. I'm not saying that their mental health ain't real. I know it is.
Yeah.
And I know, and it needs to be dealt with. But we have to get someone clean before we can really give an accurate diagnosis. And we don't do mental health here. We do send them out, and work with other clinicians. I got another guy that lives in a car, and I feed him dinner most every night, because he's a big man. He's like 6'5", about 250, and he doesn't get enough to eat at the mission.
You go down and you visit him?
No, he comes in the
Oh,
group.
he comes here? Oh, in
Yeah.
the group.
And our leftovers from lunch, we we keep them for him and say, hey, that's, and he feels like family. I've talked to his mom. He put me on the phone, and he's from North Carolina, and his family is, and he got caught up on legal charges, and he's part of our family, and this is where he comes for support, and he's part of the community. And, glad to have him. He'll be here for Christmas breakfast, and he'll take all the leftovers, because, boy, can he eat. Yes, he can.
He's doing really good, too.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. He's been sober now since he had a couple beers on the 4th of July, but since then, he's been completely and totally sober, and, he's working, and he's about ready to finish up, and once he's done with his legal charges, he's going to head back to his family, and if he takes that back with him, the tools that he's learned, he'll stay sober.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
What would you just say to people who are hesitant to get involved in treatment?
I would tell them to really just give it a chance. Come sit in, even before you get clean. Come and get assessment and meet with us. I've let people sit in on groups. They fill out confidentiality forms and kind of see what it is. And every time it's a lot like being at a college. What do you call that when you sit in on a class?
Like a seminar?
Yeah, just
or a visitor.
Yeah, we'll let them come visit and see if they want to do it, because this really
observing.
You bet, and see if they feel that it would benefit them. And anyone we've ever let set in, and there's been like 4 people this year, they've all decided to join group because it's a very positive group of people.
Right on. Is there anything else that you might think of to share?
No, not really. Other than if you have a loved one who is struggling with this thing, it's progressive. It's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. So, if you can encourage them to give this thing a shot and come in and see us if that's what the person wants. Just pressuring someone it never works.
It's stressful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm really glad to be here with you. I really appreciate you sharing what you do here. Everybody will be glad to know this. Yeah.
Right.
I hope you enjoyed today's show and my interview with Tony Bartlett and Mary at First Things First. First Things First is located at the corner of 4th Avenue and Fairview at 1905 4th Avenue East, across from Ralph's at the bus stop. You can reach them at 360-338-0600. Tune in on New Year's Day for our next show. That's it for today's resource report produced by Pathways to Agency. At Pathways to Agency, we are driven by the belief that everyone should have the tools and support to achieve their goals and thrive in their communities. Our mission is to bridge the gaps in understanding, accessibility, and trust by connecting individuals to resources and sharing information and processes that can lead to personal and community growth. Resource Report offers information about existing and emerging nonprofits and resource organizations. Find out more at pathwaystoagency.org. Chaos Radio is not responsible or liable for any views or opinions expressed in the interviews conducted by Resource Report. Till next time, and thanks for listening.